vitreous. So I hope you learned something today, and that if you have any questions, you can just write them down because this is a very long lecture. So if you have any questions, we can go back to the slides, or I think you can interrupt me if there's not so many questions anyway. So, okay. So can we, next slide, please. I think you guys have to turn on your cameras. That's required yata. Hello? Hi, everyone. Please turn on your cameras. Requirement of the school yata na you have the camera on. Para for attendance purposes po. And everyone in the camera. I'm just checking. Christy Soriano is not yet in. Camera is not on. Amanda, Manya, Menya. Okay. Si Ebuen. Okay. Si Ladisan Hamiha. Lidasan, still no camera. Mr. Ladisan? Hamiha ba to? Hamiha.
Hi sir, wait lang po.
Yeah. There's still some people without the cameras on. Quite a few. Dami pa. Si Texon Paul, De Leon Alain, De La Cruz, Kersey, Pedro, Irie, Lorendo. Yeah, you'll be marked absent if you don't turn on your cameras. Okay, that's all it is. It's a waste of my time. Okay, so our objective today is to be familiar with the different retina and vitreous diseases. These are the most common diseases that we need to know to learn about because we encounter them all the time in the clinics. So it's hypertension, diabetes, macular degeneration, and vascular occlusions of the retina. Okay, next slide. Okay, so this is the vitreous. Okay, the vitreous is actually, it occupies the middle of the eye. It gives the eye its shape. Okay, and it has intimate relationships between the lens and the ciliary body as well as the optic nerve and the retina. Okay, now the vitreous is very important because aside from keeping giving the eye its shape, it has also physiologic properties. Okay, next slide. Okay, so the vitreous is formed with the primary vitreous during embryology, then that regresses, and then you have the secondary vitreous, and lastly, that also regresses, and you have the final one, which is the tertiary vitreous. The remnants of the old vascular system of the lens is actually seen in babies, in premature babies, and sometimes it persists, and it's called the persistent hyperplastic primary vitreous. So there will be clues to the embryology of the vitreous, of how it comes about when you look at babies who are born early than usual, no, earlier than usual. Okay, next slide. So yung vitreous that we have is not the vitreous that actually we have now. No? So then it came there, it went there, then it regressed, it came, then it regressed. No? Now, these are very important, the attachments of the vitreous, because these cause are the basis for problems that come about, like a retinal detachment, when you get a posterior vitreous detachment. No? So this play a role in the pathology that we see in the retina in the later phases of life. No? So the most important is actually the vitreous space. Okay, it is the strongest attachment of the vitreous. Okay, and when you get older, we will discuss later. No? Most of the breaks actually happen in the vitreous space because the adhesion is very, very strong. Okay, the vitreous can also be attached behind the lens. When you do surgery, when you do vitrectomy surgery, you notice this. It's also attached to the papilla or the nerve. No, it's attached to the fovea. Sometimes you have a very strong adhesion between the fovea and the vitreous and can cause vitreomacular traction. Now, sometimes the vitreous is very strongly attached to vessels and it can pull on a blood vessel and cause a retinal hemorrhage. Okay. And sometimes even in other areas that are not previously mentioned, you have strong attachments like in myopia, wherein you can have areas na hindi naman nandun sa vitreous base pero strong yung adhesion and you can get a retinal tear from that. Okay? Next slide. Okay. So when we try to diagnose the problems inside the eye, no? So we first dilate it with tropicamide or mydriasil or anything that increases the pupil size. Then you can use condensing lenses together with a slit lamp. And if, let's say, the media is poor, then you can try an ultrasound, no? Similar to what we use in OBGYN. But we only use that if the media is poor. Either the cornea is bad, the patient has a very bad cataract, or there is a vitreous hemorrhage impeding the examination of the retina. Okay? So in the illustration, you can see that the image is actually between the slit lamp and the condensing lens. All right, next slide. Okay, so this is one of the entities that we observe as we get older. It's called the posterior vitreous detachment. So kanina, di ba, nakadikit yung vitreous to everything, no? In a newborn baby, that's what we see, okay? Naka-attach siya firmly to the nerve, to the blood vessels, like what we said. Kaya lang, as we get older, no, the vitreous starts to change, okay? And it becomes liquefied through aging, no? If you're nearsighted or if you have trauma, then this process can occur earlier. So if that happens, the part of the vitreous becomes a more liquid, okay? And then it dissects between the vitreous and the retina, leading to a posterior vitreous detachment. Okay? So most of the time, patients would come in and they would complain about floaters. They would complain about photopsias, like parang brief flashes of light on the side. Who's this? Okay, yeah, right. Dito, saan na ba ako? So they present with floaters and flashes because the vitreous is actually tugging on the retina. So when the vitreous slides away from the retina, sometimes it pinches in some areas of the retina. And if that happens, the retina perceives it as light. Okay? And that's why you have the flashes of light associated with the posterior vitreous detachment. Now, when you do get a posterior vitreous detachment, it's usually around my age, no? So we get it around 40, 50s, no? Earlier, if you have trauma, earlier, if you have myopia, no? It's important to get checked up, no, just to make sure that you don't have a retinal tear associated with the posterior vitreous detachment. But most of the time, a posterior vitreous detachment is actually very benign. Okay, it's pretty harmless. It's just part of normal aging. Okay, next slide. Okay, so ito yung ano, this is what we want to examine when you actually get posterior vitreous detachment. No, we want to check whether you have a retinal detachment. If an area of adhesion is very, very strong in a particular area, tapos manipis na yon, it can lead to a retinal break. Okay? If you get a retinal break, then fluid, yung sinasabi natin, di ba, nag-liquefy ring vitreous before. It can now enter a retinal break and cause a retinal detachment. Okay? So, it's important to get examined to make sure that you don't have this problem when you do get a posterior vitreous detachment. Okay? Next slide. Okay. So other pathology that can happen inside the vitreous is yung synthesis is actually just calcium, okay, suspended in the vitreous cavity. Some of the, let's say you get a retinal break and you have fibroblasts from the RPE through metaplasia, it can form membranes. No, these cells can organize and become a membrane over the retina. Now, like we said, if there's macular traction, no, if the vitreous and the retina are very adherent to one another, and particularly in the fovea, this can lead to what we call a macular hole. No, endophthalmitis just means an inflammation inside the vitreous. Okay, it can be infectious or it can be non-infectious in origin. Okay, next slide. Next slide. Yeah, that's synthesis. Next slide. Click. Diba? Okay. Medyo hindi kita yung isa dito. Okay, next slide. Okay. So, itong what's being illustrated is actually a lot of fibrosis or membrane formation in the retina, no? Probably secondary to diabetic retinopathy, no? So from the left, yun yung preoperative, tapos yung sa gitna is vitrectomy surgery, no? So essentially you remove the vitreous, no? So that's what a vitrectomy means, no? So you remove the vitreous, you remove the membranes together with it, then you have a better looking retina, which is flatter, like here on the right side. Okay. Now, it's not just diabetes that can do this, no? You can have this with ROP as well, okay, and PVR. PVR actually happens when someone gets a retinal detachment and it's been neglected for a Next slide, please. Okay, so one of the most common things that an ophthalmoscopy or an examination of the retina is used for is actually for hypertensive retinopathy. No, when you rotate, let's say, into neurology, when you rotate into OBGYN, no, so you'd have to grade hypertensive retinopathy. Okay, now what happens is because on the normotensive artery, no, so you can see that the blood is filling the arteriole. Okay, However, in hypertension, the pressure actually increases, no? So what happens to the blood vessel? The artery actually constricts, okay? Constricts because it's trying to preserve itself, no? Nilalabanan niya yung pressure inside, okay? So para hindi siya mag-burst, okay? So actually the venule, the veins don't actually change in size. It's actually the arteriole that gets more occluded or narrower, no? As the pressure, the blood pressure actually increases, no? Now, the problem with that is that if it's very, very narrow, okay, if a blood vessel constricts too much, then in some areas of the retina, blood will not flow. So what happens there is that nagkakaroon ng ischemic areas, okay, areas that don't get enough perfusion, and then that's how you see the cotton wool spots, okay? The hemorrhages in hypertensive retinopathy is brought about kung halimbawa, the pressure is so great inside the vitreous, inside the arteriole that the arteries actually burst. So pag pumutok yung arteries, that's when you get the hemorrhages in hypertension. Okay? Now, if the constriction of blood flow is so great, no, then that's when you get the disc edema. Okay? The disc edema in grade 4 hypertensive retinopathy. Okay? Next slide. Next slide. Okay, so like I said, you can have hemorrhages, no? You can have cotton wool spots. Okay, the edema is a sign of end organ damage, and that's why it's used in OBGYN as an indication for deliveries, no? Parang urgency in a sense because it reflects the overall systemic poor circulation that's seen in the eye. Okay, now hypertensive retinopathy can also have its component in the choroid, no? So L-snake spots are actually ischemic areas in the choroidal circulation, no? So parang nagsustroke actually, essentially. Parang mini strokes, no? The small areas that you don't see circulation, that's where you can see an L-snake spot. It's the same pathology that we were talking about in a cotton wool spot, no? So sa cotton wool spot, hindi lang nawala yung blood flow tapos nagkaroon ng edema secondary to poor circulation in that area. Okay? So hard exudates naman, it's actually just lipid spilling into the retina, no? So sabihin, sobrang taas ng blood pressure, naputol na yung blood ocular barrier, na break na yung ocular barrier. So that's why hemorrhage or fluid or exudates, they can all go into your retina and cause these problems, no? Okay, next slide. Okay, so this is the grading that we use for hypertensive retinopathy, the Shea classification, no? So habang pumababa ka, tumataas ka dun sa sa grading, no, the worse it is. Okay? Now what's good about this is that it's reversible to some extent, no? So pag napababa mo na yung blood pressure, no? Or in OBGYN, when you deliver the baby, wala nang hypertension between the placenta and the systemic circulation, gumaganda na siya. Okay? So, pero hindi naman kagad yan nawawala in a few days. No? It takes less than a month, a few weeks maybe. Okay? Pero that's what's good about this. It's an indicator of the systemic picture. Okay? So, that's an advantage of the eye actually kasi it's the only organ that we have transparent tissue. Okay? So you can directly examine the blood vessels, you can directly examine the if there's hemorrhage, no? So if you have hemorrhage, if you have poor circulation in the eye, then it's probably happening elsewhere as well in the body. You just can't see it. Okay? Next slide. Okay. So this is just sclerosis. Okay? Next slide. So lumiliit yung arteriole. Okay? The other very common pathology that we have in the retina is diabetic retinopathy. It is very, very prevalent. In the Philippines, we are one of the countries where there's a lot of diabetes, okay? And it's continually rising pa, tumataas pa. Okay? And actually, kita mo, if you ask yourself, almost all of you will answer yes to this question that may kamag-anak ba akong diabetic? The answer is probably yes. No, my brother's diabetic. My dad's diabetic. No, so tawag dito, sobrang dami this is a public health problem actually, no? Now, we divide diabetic retinopathy into non-proliferative and proliferative, which just means that there are new blood vessels forming in the vitreous retina interface in the proliferative type, okay? So if these blood vessels actually bleed or burst, no, or cause traction, they can cause disturbances in your vision. It could be floaters, it could be blurring of vision, no? Now, this guideline is very important. Okay, so if you have type 1 diabetes, you should you should have an eye exam within 5 years of the diagnosis of diabetes. No, however, in type 2, since type 2 mas inaccurate yung timing of the diagnosis of the diabetes, it is recommended that you have the examination right away. Okay, so upon diagnosis of diabetes, a type 2 should have a complete eye exam to make sure na wala siyang retinopathy, or if there's retinopathy, you could treat it. Okay? Next slide. Okay. So kung neglected yung diabetic retinopathy, no, for example, dito sa right side, you have the hemorrhages and the exudates in the retina. So probably blurring of vision na. Now, this is a complication on the left side. This is neovascularization of the iris. Okay? So what happens there is that it's so ischemic at the posterior region of the eye that the eye tries to form new blood vessels. No, so this vascular endothelial growth factor that's produced by the retina actually spills over into the anterior segment of the eye, causing new blood vessels to even form in the areas that normally it wouldn't, like the iris. Okay, this can cause problems like glaucoma, hyphema, no? So, dito, it's a very, very difficult eye to treat. Okay? Next slide. Okay? So, the ones on the white arrows are the hemorrhages, no? So, yung sa upper, yun yung frame shape. Yung isa, yun yung blot, no? So, yung maliit, yun ang dot. Okay? Now, on the right side is actually neovascularization. Okay? So, this is new blood vessels branching out from the original blood vessel. Now, the problem with that is that it can bleed. No, these are very fragile. They're not as strong as the normal blood vessels. Another is that usually this is where the fibrosis or traction actually occurs, no, and can pull the retina away. Okay, next slide. All right. Okay. Yeah. So on the right side, sometimes kasi the color is not enough, no. So we actually do fluorescein angiography or an angiogram of the retina. Okay, so we can see if there are areas that are not flowing, walang blood flow. Okay, areas that are leaking, no. And dito we can see macular edema, no. Neovascularization can be better seen in a fluorescein angiogram. Next slide. Okay, this is an OCT. It's like a scan, a profile slice through the retina. Okay, and you can see that there's edema in the middle, no? So yung parang cyst na nandoon, that's brought about by leakage from blood vessels, and it distorts the retinal anatomy. Yung contour ng retina na pababa, kaya nawawala yun. So pag nawala yun, that's when you get blurring of vision or diabetic macular edema. Okay, next slide. Okay, so what do we do for that? We can do lasers. Next slide. Okay, so on the left side of the retina, you can see there are a lot of exudates, no? So if you have exudates, meaning there are leakages inside the retina. So if this continues on, dadami lalo yung mga yellow spots sa loob. Okay, pag nangyari yon, you can have more scotomas, no? Parang nakaharang dun sa field of vision, no? And that's why we do focal laser for that. So on the right is after a focal laser session. So the black spots are the laser marks. So makita mo hindi na masyadong maraming exudate, wala na masyadong parang mancha, no? Kaya lang it's the advice is actually not to get problems like these, okay? If you're diabetic or some of you are diabetic, better to avoid these problems rather than to treat them kasi yung original, no, yung hindi na damage na retina is still better than someone who got a focal laser for diabetic retinopathy. Okay, next slide. Okay, so ano yan, these are injections being done inside the eye, okay, which can also treat macular edema, but some of them can be very expensive. Okay, next slide. So the next disease that we'll be talking about is age-related macular degeneration. This is actually pretty common. Kaya lang, before, parang it was not very well diagnosed. No? Another is that siguro media also played a role in making it known. No? So yung mga commercial na dito, sino yung kay Iza Calzado, yung iBerry, mga ganun, yung mga vitamin supplementation. Actually, this is the disease that those commercials actually need to address. Okay? Ang ginagawa kasi nila parang for everyone eh. Yung eye vitamins, actually hindi. No? The basis for the claims are actually studies on age-related macular degeneration or as we get older, no? So nasisira yung mata. Okay? And the vitamins are actually the one that's being dispensed for this condition. Okay? There are two types, no? Like in diabetes, may proliferative, may non-proliferative, no? So here we have the neovascular and the non-neovascular. Okay, ang non-neovascular basically you have degeneration but it's a slow process. Okay? Ang neovascular, bagong tubo na ugat sa loob ng mata na can bleed, no? And can cause hemorrhage and you lose vision very, very fast. Okay? It's not as many as the non-neovascular. It's the prevalence is not that high compared to non-neovascular AMD, but mas pangit naman yung vision loss. Okay? The vision loss is greater and faster in the neovascular type. Okay? Wala tong pain, wala rin pero the hallmark of this is central visual loss. Okay? So nakakakita sila sa gilid, sa central lang is scotoma sila. Okay? Next slide. Okay, yeah. So that's a neovascular on the right side. Okay, next slide. Okay, so the hallmark of age-related macular degeneration is actually drusen. Okay, the first picture dun sa left is actually drusen, or these are metabolic waste from the visual cycle. Okay, so normally in the young people like you, no, so the RPE actually cleans this up. Okay? Naglilinis siya. No? So may debris that's left over when you actually use your eyes, no, in the visual cycle, when you try to see something, meron siyang dumi. No? Basically, waste product. Okay? And now the RPE actually gobbles it up. No? Tapos, dito, recycle some of the products. And therefore, you don't have an accumulation of this pigment. Okay? This parang waste product in the retina. However, habang tumatanda tayo, yung clean-up system natin actually gets weaker and weaker. So, ang nangyayari doon, when it gets weaker, dumadami ngayon yung pigment, no? Hindi na nalilinis ng mata. Okay, and that's how you diagnose age-related macular degeneration. And as the name implies, it's age-related, no? It's got nothing to do with ano ba kinain mo or ano. It's really the primary cause is actually aging. Okay? Next slide. Okay. So if you slice through the macular degeneration with an OCT, you can see na parang may mga accumulations in the RPE Brooks membrane layer. Okay? So ito hindi naman to hindi pa naman siya active, no? Pero yung sa baba, yung sa fluorescein angiogram, yung number sa baba sa right hand inferior, no? So yun ang nag-delete. No? So pag ganun, yun yung neovascular type. Okay? Yung dalawa sa taas, non-neovascular. Okay? Meaning it does not leak. Okay? And therefore, you just give them the vitamins that we talked about. Okay? However, yung sa ilalim, sabi nga natin, you can lose vision very quickly. Then, ito yung mga cases na kailangan injectionan. Okay? Para mapigil yung process of neovascularization in the retina. Okay? Next slide. Okay? So like we said, yung sa non-neovascular, we just give them the vitamins, no? Now, why do we give the vitamins? No, the reason that we give the vitamins is that it decreases the chances of the non-neovascular to become a neovascular type. Okay? So we cannot cure it. Okay? Hindi yung pagbigyan mo siya ng vitamins, mawawala na yung AMD niya. No. Actually, the AMD is just being parang halted, napipigilan lang siya, no? Para hindi siya maging neovascular so that the patient doesn't lose vision very quickly, no? They will still lose vision pero it's a very slow process. Okay? Now, for the neovascular, since mabilis, malaki yung chances of losing vision very quickly, we do injections of a molecule that antagonizes the vascular endothelial growth factor. Okay? So that it doesn't proliferate, it doesn't grow very out of control, no? Pero hindi rin natin sila nagagamot. Ako cure, okay? Nagagamot natin siya, we convert the neovascular into a non-neovascular, pero we never get rid of the macular degeneration. Okay? So pag umulit-ulit, let's say, nagdugo ulit, then we do another injection of the anti-VEGF. Okay? Next slide. Yan, that's the injection. Okay? We pass it through the pars plana. Okay? Kasi wala siyang retina dun sa area na yun. And it's a safe place to introduce the drug inside the eye. Okay? Next slide. Okay. So another very common disease is actually CRVO or central retinal vein occlusion. Okay? This is sa exam yan siya, hotdog ketchup, no, yung mga ang hotdog doon kasi yung vessels become very tortuous. So nagiging mataba sila tapos nagiging parang curve. So that's the hotdog. Yung ketchup yung natapon na hemorrhage, yung mga flame-shaped hemorrhages and blood hemorrhages that we see scattered throughout the retina. Okay? Usually, may mga risk factors yung pasyente, no? Like hypertension, coagulopathy, okay? Diabetes can also sometimes be a risk factor, no? This is divided into an ischemic or a non-ischemic, no? Self-explanatory naman yun. Ibig sabihin ng ischemic, pangit yung perfusion, no? Ang non-ischemic, yung magandang type, no? So, mas malaki yung chances na mag-recover ng vision. Okay? Next slide. Okay, so this is just a smaller central retinal vein occlusion, no? So, kanina, all 4 blood vessels, no, throughout the retina are occluded. Whereas in a branch retinal vein occlusion, isa lang, no? Ang hemiretinal naman is 2 out of 4 or kalahati, no? 2 out of 4 of the retina is occluded. Okay? This is a better prognosis compared to a CRVO, no? However, we do injections, no? Pero in addition to the injections, you can actually do focal laser for a BRVO as opposed to a CRVO. Okay? Now, if a CRVO actually affects the macula, like in this case, no, sa pool niya yung fovea, central retinal area. So, dito, this will present with blurring of vision. Pero you can have a BRVO elsewhere. Kung halimbawa, inferonasal, the patient will just complain of scotoma or a quadrant that's cloudy, pero nakakabasa pa siya. Pwede yun. No? Pwede rin yan. Pero it's less common. Okay? Next slide. Okay. Now, another one of the vascular occlusions in the eye, it's actually an ocular emergency. No? So if I give a lecture on the ocular emergencies, this is one of the 2 ocular emergencies that we are talking about. Now, a central retinal artery occlusion, kailangan mabilis, ma-diagnose, no? Kailangan may ophthalmoscope para makita mo, no? So what you will do is actually when you examine the eye in the ophthalmoscope, maputi yung retina, no? So you can compare, let's say, ito left eye maputi. You look at the right eye, makita mo it's pink, it's orange, no? It's like the picture previously, no? Pero this one is very pale, okay? Now, it's very important na you diagnose this, no? Tapos you do a first aid right away, okay? Don't parang, diagnose ko CRAO, yay, CRAO, tapos I'll just ask them to go to the ophthalmologist tomorrow or maybe in a week. No? So wala na yun. Bulag na yung pasyente. Pero if bago pa lang siya, tapos you're able to diagnose it properly, then you can do first aids like carbonic anhydrase. Pero pinakasimple talaga is just rebreathing through a brown bag. Okay? Now, what happens is that when you rebreathe the air inside the bag, okay, it's got lots of carbon dioxide from you. So when you re-inhale the carbon dioxide, the oxygen tension inside the eye, inside the body goes down. Okay? So nape-perceive yun ng retina. So the retina thinks, this is bad. Pangit yung baba ng oxygen tension. So what happens is that through autoregulation, the arterioles vasodilate, okay, through a brown bag rebreathing. And that's how you can actually hopefully relieve the CRAO in time. Okay? All right? The other methods to treat a CRAO, medyo mahirap kasi you can do vitrectomy, surgery for it, you can tap the eye, you can remove fluid from the eye. No? Pero the simple and most accessible at your level is actually just a brown bag inhalation. That's simple and it's actually very, very effective. Okay? Next slide. Okay? So this one is similar to the previous one, except like a BRVO, it's just a smaller CRAO. No? So our BRAO is actually one blood vessel that's occluded, an arteriole that's occluded, no? Like in this case, in the inferior macula. So this one, pwedeng affected yung vision pa rin niya kasi nasa macula yung vessel that's occluded, no? Although it's not as bad as, let's say, a superior one, okay? Kasi inferior to eh. So baligtad yung mata, yung scotoma ng pasyente nasa taas. Okay? It's bad for driving pero it's good for reading. Okay? Kung kung superior yung occluded, then mahirapan magbasa yung pasyente. Okay? Next slide. Okay. Tapos na pala, bilis lang, no? Do you have any questions? Do you want to go back to any of the slides? So it's a very easy to understand topic kasi hindi naman ganun karami, no? Tapos dito, these are very, very common retinal entities, no? Na you should actually be a master of. Sigurado when you replicate in the clinic, for sure you'll see maybe 2 of them, 3 of them, no? It's very, very common. When you finally do a face-to-face clinic with me or in the eye center, no? For sure you're gonna encounter these things, no? And like I said, it's very common. Hypertension is very common. Diabetes is very common, no? AMD is also, we also see that all the time. Okay? Do you have any questions? May tanong pa kayo?
Doc, I have a question po.
Sino ka,
Bali po,
doktora?
Agkawili po. Agkawili, Veronica.
Okay.
Doc, tatanong ko lang po, if yung sa floaters po ba, pag nakakita po ba yung patient po ng floaters, automatic na po ba yun na meron po siyang posterior vitreous detachment? Ganun.
Okay, actually, not necessarily. Okay? Now, ang floaters can be brought about by many things. No? Halimbawa, myopia, hindi naman necessarily nag-vitreous detachment pa. Pwede pa rin. No? Kasi dito, some of the fluid, nagkakaroon kasi ng fluid pockets inside the vitreous. No? Pero, dito, let's say may floaters ka na, may flashes ka pa, di syempre yung index of suspicion goes up. Okay? For a posterior vitreous detachment. Or another scenario is that baka nagpo-floaters ka na, nagpo-flashes ka na, pero hindi pa present completely yung posterior vitreous detachment. So, hindi mo pa kita. Pwedeng hindi pa ma-diagnose ng doktor. So, sometimes, in that case, kapag may pasyente kami na nakikita sa clinic na ganun, we ask them to come back in 3 weeks, no? So, kung halimbawa, partial pa lang yung detachment in some areas, no? Tapos, in a few weeks, naging naging complete, okay? Kaya mo na siya makita. Madadiagnose mo na siya na, oo nga, posterior vitreous detachment nga to.
Okay po. Thank you po, Doc.
Ang importante doon actually is to have an eye check-up. Right? So regardless whether kitang-kita na yung posterior vitreous detachment o hindi, have an eye check-up kasi para makita kung kailangan ka i-laser. No? Kung kailangan mo ng retinopexy, kung mayroong punit sa retina, no, na kailangan i-laser. Meron akong ganung pasyente, no? Routine, coming in for possible LASIK. Okay? She saw the dito, the refractive surgeon last week. Tapos, yung refractive surgeon, hindi ko ma-refract to 2022. I mean, yung vision was very poor. Now, on OCT, may tubig yung isang mata. No? There was subretinal fluid. No? So, it's a undiagnosed PVD that led to a retinal tear that led to a retinal detachment na shallow. No? So, ano yun, dito, you do see them in the clinics. And may floaters na siya, may flashes na siya, pero hindi siya neglected. No? Hindi siya nagpatingin kagad. So, yun yung problema. No? Wala na tanong. Sa exam na lang. Sa exam na lang ako magtatanong. Wala? No questions? Wala? Okay. Baka naman super clear yung lecture, kaya wala lang. Wala? Okay lang. Kaya na mag-exam. No? Ang maganda nga dito, hindi siya masyadong marami. It used to be a much longer lecture than now. No? Pero dito, what's good is that I think pag mas konti, mas madali maintindihan kasi mas nahihimay natin per topic. Okay? Wala lang question. Tatanungin ko lang kung pwede na kayong mag-log out. Ang alam ko hindi. Wala na kayong question. Ba't mga taga-FEU takot takot mag-ask ng question? Ayan, pwede na daw kayo mag-log out, sabi ni Dr. Julia. Kung wala na kayong question, no? Sa exam na lang. Okay, sige. Thank you for your time. No? Thanks for listening. I hope you learned something. No? These are very common entities and you really should know about them. Okay? Salamat.
Thank you po, Doc.
Thank you po, Doc.
Thank you, Doc.
Okay, ingat. Have a good day.
Doc.
Bye-bye.